Welcome back to our Introduction to Revit series. This is hard to believe it's part 8 now. My name is Mr. Vosters, and I'm here guiding you through the design of this here house in Revit. So in the previous 7 parts, we have added floors, walls, ceilings, windows, doors, all kinds of good stuff. So if you haven't watched those parts, go back and watch those. Just to kind of refresh everybody, we are designing this here house in Revit. So in this part, we'll be adding the roof to the house. So let's go back to our current state. That was kind of the finished product. What you'll see at the end of this video. This is where we left off in our last video, doing the interior doors and windows. So to begin, we're going to want to go to our floor plan. So in your project browser, find the floor plan for L1 and L2. And what we're actually going to do is bring back our walls and floors. Right now they're all transparent. We actually want them to be solid for now. And I'll explain why in a second. So from here, let's go to our filter. We just want to have walls and floors selected. Click OK. Then we're going to right click, override graphics and view by category. And then we're going to set that to 0. Click apply, click OK. And now our walls and our floors are solid. If we go to L2, we're going to do the same exact thing there. I'm just going to highlight everything in that floor plan, uncheck everything, and then go to floors and walls. Click OK. Then when I see that little kind of move symbol there, I'll right click, override graphics and view by category. We'll take that from 50 all the way back down to 0. Click apply, then OK. So that's just going to allow us to see everything a little bit better, see all those edges, and not be kind of distracted by the image underneath. So on our second floor, that's where we're going to be doing the roof for the first floor. And that's going to be this section here, here, and we'll also be doing this section over here. The other part of the roof, the main, I guess the highest part of the roof, that's going to be done on the roof level. So let's go back to our L2. And one thing we're going to have to do is go to our underlay. So from the L2 floor plan, we'll scroll down in our properties tab, make sure nothing is clicked on. If you have like the picture here clicked on, just hit escape a couple times, scroll down until you see underlay, and you want to set that to ground floor. The reason we want that is because a good chunk of our roof is going to be based on the footprint of the ground floor. It has nothing to do with the second floor, so we want to be able to trace those edges along the ground floor. But if we don't have this underlay on, we can't see that. So that's why we bring that back. So then we're going to draw our first floor roof on the second floor. And to do that, we're going to select this roof by footprint option up here in the architecture tab. And then I'm actually going to exit out of that real quick. I'm going to hide this image. It's kind of a little bit annoying at this stage since it's cluttering up our lines. So let's go back to roof. So now we're back in the roof menu. Let's switch our type of roof to wood rafter 8-inch asphalt shingle. If we do this just basic one, generic one, it's going to be like all green. And this one looks like it is asphalt shingles on the top, so that should be perfect. Okay, once you have that selected, you want to make sure you're using the line tool. And we're just going to kind of trace the outline of that roof. And if we go over here, we should be able to see that it kind of traces along the second floor outline. And then it comes out a little bit past the porch. Then it kind of goes around the garage all the way to the back here. like so. But the one thing we do need to take into account is the overhang. So notice the edge of the roof is not right along the edge of the siding. It does stick out, I don't know, 6 inches to a foot, it looks like. It's not sticking out far, but it does stick out a little bit there. So I'm just going to say 9 inches is how far it sticks out. That is an estimation, and it may be a little bit too small, but that's what we're going to stick with for this video. If this were really the site, we could measure it, but we don't have that luxury. So let's click our line tool, and let's just pick a point to start. I'm just going to start right here in that corner. I will go up to this corner, and then I need to go out an additional 9 inches because we said there was an offset of 9 inches. So from here, now we can actually use, there's a tool within the roof footprint menu up here called offset. And if I just type in 9 inches, we should be able to, when we click on some of these lines, to have it automatically offset 9 inches. So get out of the line tool and select the pick lines tool. So as I hover over these lines, see how there's like a dashed line kind of showing up? That's where the offset line will show up. So if I click there, we should get this line to show up 9 inches outside of where the edge of the building is. So I'm just going to go around, click on all my edges. It's going to give me that 9-inch offset just where I want it. We will have to go back and trim and extend these lines, but for now, this kind of gets us a good start. We do not want this one to be offset. We want it to go right up and hug the edge of the house. So I'm just going to kind of trace those using the line tool. However, it looks like it did keep my offset. So let's delete that. Go back to the line tool. Now we've got an offset of 0 up there. And we should be able to just go down, back around. Oops, didn't quite go far enough. Let's delete this one and redo it. So I'm gonna go all the way to the edge, or all the way to the corner, all the way to the corner, and then we're just gonna rejoin our shape there. Okay, let's go around and trim or extend as we need to here. So I'm just going to click this section and this section, which would trim back this chunk. Here again, we'll trim there and there. And then here I'm going to extend that corner. I think that'll do it. So if I hit escape a couple times and click the green check, we should now have a roof. Clearly, that is not how we want. As you can see, it's sloping like back in towards the house, whereas on our actual house, it's always sloping away from the structure. So that has to do with our settings when we created the roof. So click on your roof, go back to Edit Footprint, and then let's go back to L2, and see all these little triangles? Anytime there's a little triangle there, that means that is going to be sloped. So let me show you how this works. If I click on this line and I turn off Define Slope, now this side of the roof should be unsloped. So if I just click the green check, I'll be able to show you what that means. So see this here now, there is no slope towards this edge. So that's actually what we want for that section, because see how the wall just kind of extends straight up? There is no slope towards that chunk. So we'll have to turn off Define Slope on a bunch of different sides. So I'll click Edit Footprint again, go back to L2. Any of the ones that are up against the house, I'm going to turn off Define Slope. So I'll go around and do that. Define Slope off. You can do these multiple at a time if you just click on all the ones you want to turn off. Click the little checkbox there to turn it off. And this one, is this one also? Yeah, this one also is no slope. We can see it right here. That wall just goes all the way up. So I'll turn that one off. And I think I've got most of it. Let's check on how we're doing. It's starting to come together. This one needs to be turned off. I know that. And then we've also got something funky going on here. We don't want it sloping in like that. But the rest of it's looking pretty good. This one also will have to be turned off. So let's go back to L2, edit our footprint. We'll turn that one off. And then I have this little tiny one down there. Let's actually delete that and just extend this here. And then we'll delete the defined slope on that one. And I think that's pretty much it. Let's check. That's looking pretty good, other than the fact that we've got it going halfway through our windows. So that has to do with the quantity that we chose for the slope. So if I go back to my roof, edit footprint, now I'll have to adjust some of these. So for this one, let's just look at our pictures. It's going to be shallower in some spots. Like here, it's a shallower slope than this part. This is our gabled roof. And that's going to be a little bit steeper than what we see here and here. I think this is the same slope as this. And I think everything on the back side is also going to be that shallower slope. So let's go ahead and adjust that. So we said this is going to be a shallow slope. So we'll change this to, instead of 6 inches or instead of 9 inches for a rise, 12 inches for a run, we're going to switch it to 6 inches for a rise, 12 inches for a run. So if you've taken algebra, that's how we're defining our slope. Rise and then run. So rise is how much is going up for every 12 inches of roof. So this was also going to be shallower. So that's 6 to 12. Let's change this one to 6 to 12. And then let's change this one to 6 to 12 as well. And then we're going to leave this one and this one as 9 to 12 because it goes up a little bit higher, a little bit steeper. Okay, so that's looking decent. Although we are getting kind of a funky shape there. So let's check on a couple things, make sure that we're not missing anything. So click on the roof, edit footprint. And this one is 6 to 12. This one also has to be 9 to 12. I actually lied. Because it's kind of a continuation of this one. So we want it to be kind of identical. And I still don't think I quite have it. Hold on. Okay, so it looks like it just didn't take when I typed in 9 inches to 12 inches here. So I may have just forgotten to hit the enter key or click apply. So let's try that one more time. And I think we fixed it. Yeah, that looks about right. Because now this gabled portion of our roof is centered over our garage, which looks correct. There is one other thing that we will need to fix, and that's that our roof is just simply too high. And if we kind of rotate this, we can see the roof is kind of stopping right at the second floor level. We actually want that down a foot. So let's do a base offset from level, do negative, let's do negative, is it typing? Let's try that one more time, -1 foot, click apply, and see how it kind of just bumps our roof down a little bit. That's pretty much exactly how this one looks. If we look, that corner of the window is just barely clipped by our roof. And then this one, the trim goes basically right up to the bottom or to the top of the roof, which is pretty much exactly how ours is. There's like a little tiny chunk of siding visible. Then this one is barely clipping that corner. So I think we pretty much got it. So now from here, we want to get rid of this ugly space, and that's actually super easy for us to do. So all we need to do is click on all of the walls that we want to bring up to our roof. So right now I'm just holding down the control key, and you'll see that little plus symbol. That means we're like adding things to our selection. So I'm just kind of spinning around the house, clicking on everything I want to connect to my roof. And I think I've got it all selected. And now we're just going to click up here under modify walls where it says attach top/base. And once I click that, now I have to click on what I want to attach it to, and that's this roof. As soon as I click that, it should take my siding all the way up to the top, and we're going to be pretty happy with that. I wonder if I can also attach this wall to the roof. It says it misses it. So looks like we can't do that. But there is a fix we can add in a later video for that. Okay, so first floor is done, and I think it looks pretty darn good. So in the second floor, we're going to go to the roof level, but we want to make sure we're under floor plans. And then from here, let's save the project. We'll have to set our underlay, obviously, to second floor so we can actually see our second floor. And from here, pretty simple to do. We're just going to do roof by footprint again. Make sure you've got the wood rafter 8-inch asphalt shingle selected. And then you can just pick the line option here. Do a 9-inch offset. And then we can just trace around the outside edge of our house. Like so. We'll do that. We're just kind of snapping it to the corners right now. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's trim and extend these two so they're connected. And I think we have a full kind of loop around our house. So if I just click the green check, it should make a roof. However, it's not going to look like how we want because we have we have defined slope on for everything. So if we look back at our picture, we actually want it to be gabled on the right and left sides. Front and back will have a slope, and then this little section here will not have a slope because it is gabled. Remember when I told you in previous videos we were going to get rid of this little bump here? By doing that, we're also going to get rid of this gabled section of our roof. So we will not have like a double kind of gable here, which is not the end of the world. So let's go back to our roof. So click on it, edit footprint, go back to roof level. And like I said, we're going to turn off the define slope over here, over here, over here. And then we're going to check out how it looks. So click the green check, go back to your 3D view. And we're getting pretty close. And I'm happy with that. All we need to do now is really just attach top to base. So I'm going to click on this wall. I'm going to go around the entire house, kind of clicking on all of our second story walls, exterior walls. Make sure you hold down control. Click on all of them. Can't miss this one. Once they're all selected, click attach top/base, and then click the roof since that's our target we're attaching to. And that'll do it for this video. So just around 20 minutes. So this should really start to make it look pretty close to a finished product. We can add some fascia in the next video. I believe I'll do that in the next video to cover up some of this exposed lumber here. So one thing that I really should have mentioned earlier on in this video in the process is if your computer is not that powerful or it's starting to slow down, make sure you're not in realistic view for a lot of this. So I like to work often in shaded mode or hidden line mode just because that's going to require less processing power from your computer. So mine is starting to work pretty hard. So you don't want to spend too much time in realistic view because, like I said, it's just going to require more power. So it's a good habit to, especially once your model starts getting more complex, to work in the shaded view or better yet, even in the hidden line view. So it is nice to obviously show customers and stuff the realistic view. If you're doing renders, you want it to look more realistic. But I'll stop there. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.